Well, we're back here in Unit 2. Today, Lesson 3 is multiplying polynomials. Again, this is a lesson that is a repeat lesson, a review lesson from Algebra 1. You should know how to do this, but a little extra practice and a little review time and so I can reactivate that knowledge is always a good thing. So, we're going to do some multiplying here. So we're going to distribute the 4x to the 5x plus 2, and we're going to get 20x squared plus 8x. I'm going to remind you that we have ones hiding here, and if that helps you stay organized and stay focused, make sure you put them in. So distribute these, you get negative 50x plus 5x squared. Watch those signs. And the same thing goes for this one, 6x cubed minus 24x squared plus 48x. Nothing new here. Don't overthink it. So once you've finished writing those three down, go and try D, E, and F by yourself. And then I'll put the solutions up so you can check it. Okay, so now review your solutions to what I have written here. That F, be careful, because there's 4 different terms we have to distribute that 8x squared y squared to. So when you're done with that, meet me at exercise 2. So exercise 2 says consider the product of 3x plus 2 with 2x plus 5. So there's 2 different ways that we can multiply a binomial times a binomial. One is called the FOIL method, or called double distributive, and we just loop it twice. So what I did here is I just showed you that it's going to be 3x first one times 3x times the second one, and then the 2 times the first one, and then the 2 times the second one. All right, so that's called double distributive. So you're going to do 3x times 2x is going to be 6x squared. 3x times a positive 5 is a positive 15x. 2 times 2x, and notice how I put it underneath it because they're going to be like terms. And then plus 10 off the back. So when I add these two together, I'm going to get that 6x squared, that plus 10, and the 2 middle terms we combine into plus 19x. So that's double distributive. Some of you might remember the area model. All right, when we set up an area model, let's use a different color here. We put the 2x, so the 2x here plus 5, and then the 3x plus 2. I've always tends to keep my x squared portion in the bottom left. You don't have to do that, but like I said, consistency is half the trouble here. So if you keep everything consistent, it makes things a little bit easier. So now this simply becomes a multiplication table. So we say 3x times 2x is 6x squared. Then I say 2x times a positive 2 is positive 4x. And then I say 5 times 3x is 15x. And 5 times a positive 2 is positive 10. And then we're just going to combine those like terms on the diagonal to come up with the same answer that we have right here. So 6x squared plus 19x plus 10. This area model is going to come in handy when we start factoring, when we start going the other way. We start going from a trinomial to the product of 2 binomials, and we have a leading coefficient that is not 1. This is going to help us a little bit. All right, I'm telling you, it's a great format to use, especially if you are confused using the double distributive method or the FOIL method. Now, I mentioned FOIL before, and you can't see that, so let's change color. FOIL is an acronym for first, outside, inside, last. So that's what we have here. The first terms times the outside terms plus the, plus the outside terms, plus the inside terms, plus the last terms. Another way to remember how to do that. Okay, moving on to exercise 3. Find the product of the binomial with the trinomial. Represent your product using the area model. All right, now, on a test, I'll never tell you have to use the area model, but you can use either one. So we're going to do it both ways. For those people that like to use the double distributive, we're going to say over here 4x plus 3 times 2x squared minus 5x minus 3. Now do me a favor, don't write this down yet. Why don't you look at both ways and determine which way you want to do it and then write that way down. All right, so let's go to our double distributive method. So first term, second term, third term, and then the second term here times the first term, the second term, and the third term. The loops help me, folks, so don't be afraid to use them. So 4x times 2x squared is going to be 8x to the third power minus 20x squared minus 12x. And now we're going to multiply the positive 3 times 2x squared. And I'm going to right away make sure I'm putting my like terms together. That's not positive 3x squared. Happens when you talk and you're doing things at the same time. So let's try this again. 3 times 2x squared is 6x squared. 3 is minus 15x and minus 9. So as you can see, the 8x cubed is going to stay here. The minus 9 stays in the back. And we're going to combine like terms to get minus 14x squared and a minus 27x. Wrong on there. I'm like, I made a mistake. I'm like, no, I didn't. I did a mistake on there. I put 17 here by accident. No. Okay, so sorry for that interruption. Alrighty, so moving on to the other format, which is the area model. So when I set up the area model here now, I have 2 here. So I'm going to do the 4x plus 3 over on this side. And on the bottom, I have 3 of them. So I'm going to put the 2x squared minus 5x and minus 3. Notice how I take the signs in front of them? And now this becomes a times table. So this becomes 8x cubed. We're multiplying, remember. This becomes a positive 6x squared. This is a negative 20x. This is a negative 15x. Whoops, this is x squared. All right, this is negative 12x. And this is going to be a negative 9. So if we did this properly, these should be like terms, which they are. And our answer is going to be the 8x cubed minus 14x squared minus 27x minus 9, which is the same thing we have right here. So now what I want you to do is after you just watch that, I want you to pick the way you want to do it, and I want you to write that method down. All right, if you don't need to use the area model, then don't do it using double distributive. If you like the area model because it keeps you organized and you can do that way a little bit faster and a little bit more accurate, then you choose that way. All right, there's really no reason to understand how to do both ways. And then meet me at exercise 4. Okay, last one. So here we have the product of three binomials. So what we're going to do here is we're going to multiply. So let's write it down first just to make it a little larger for us. X plus 4 and x minus 7. And we're going to just take two of them to start with. So basically what I'm going to kind of do is forget about this one here, and I'm going to worry about these two. So let's do our loops. This times this times this. Again, if you like the area model, start making that box. So this becomes x squared plus 4x minus 2x minus 8. So we have x squared plus 2x minus 8. If you did the area model, you should be coming up with the same answer. But now we need to take that x minus 7 out of hiding and multiply it by that trinomial that we have. And we're going to do that the same way. Loop, 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 loop. All right, so we're going to have x cubed plus 2x squared minus 8x. So all I did was add an x onto the back of each one of those. And now minus 7x squared minus 14x and plus 56. Drum roll, please. We get our answer, x cubed minus 5x squared. Mr. Costa is doing my little drum roll for me, so thank you so much. Minus 22x plus 56 is my answer. These are fun. I hope you're enjoying these as much as I am, because we love doing these. Because they're not hard. Anything that's not hard and you're good at, it tends to be easier. All right, and the beautiful thing about these nice videos is I'm keeping them to about 12 minutes. So you should be able to get that independent practice done as soon as you're done with the video. Okay? You don't need to, you can start doing them. If you have trouble with some of them, then we can come back into class and we can discuss it as a class or with your people. Okay, so until next time, always make good choices and be safe.